Hey guys, it's Jim Bounds with Co-op Motorworks and Motorhome Rehab Ranch. Hey ranch hands, I'll give you one here today. Had a question. How do I get off those nasty old original decals? Maybe put something else on, but how do I get those off? Really, really important question. You can really screw the world up if you don't do it right, okay? You got to think about it. Stripes, when the manufacturer did it, they didn't paint them on like this. This is a lot of work. You had to base that, bag it, base this, clear the whole thing. I mean, it's a lot of work. Bob and Scooter at UAW is not going to do that. They're going to put stick-ons, okay? Now, the paint line, we copied it with paint, the stripe line. Why? Because it's a knockout line. It really is. It's a beautiful setup, right? The first thing, you got to get this off. Not only do you have to get it off, you can't damage the original paint. You say, oh, well, I'm just going to grab that thing, I'm going to rip it all down to the paint, and I'm going to prime it and paint it. Dude, you're going to see where the body and the paint goes down because you ripped it down to metal. If you wanted to do it right, then you'd have to come back with filler and fill that couple of microns thick with the paint and then sand that down and get it. Oh, stop, you're killing me. Don't do that. Here's how you do it. And no other way. Somebody says, well, yeah, that's pretty good. But you know, you could do, dude. No. Do it this way or die. This is, get your pins out, boys. This is a 3M eraser wheel, okay? Part number, it looks like it is 34-8714-7846-6. 3M, maximum RPM 4,000, eraser wheel. Eraser wheel? Yeah. You could go buy, you know, 4 cases of erasers. Start working on it. No. They make it like this. Same, probably the same material. And what you do, what does this stuff do? What it does, it will take off all of the decal and all the adhesion, but it won't touch the paint. So you can just take it off. The paint under it will be perfect. That's what you want, because if you're going to put another one down on top, if you're going to put another decal on top of that, you want a flat surface. And if you want to not have that paint, that decal there, so you're going to paint the coach. Step 1 is to get rid of that stuff. Get rid of the decal. Buy a case of these babies. Okay, so what you do, take your trusty screw gun, get one for Christmas. I may be getting one. And you just start on it, just like a turtle. Turtle gets to the end first. Start, and you'll see it come right off. Just a little bit at a time. You're just going to literally erase it. And it works. After you do it a while, you'll find you can pick a corner and it'll just eat it a little faster. If you stay in one spot long enough, it'll heat up and it'll damage your paint. But if you don't do that, you can just slowly move it back and forth and you'll erase that thing. You say, man, that's going to take a couple of days. You're absolutely right. It will. There's no different. There's no substitute for the labor, the time it takes to do some of this stuff. But you got to have the right tools. You need to have an eraser wheel, okay? This eraser wheel will take this paint surface flat. Now, if it's beautiful pea green, it'll be more beautiful pea green under here because the decals stop the UV, so it'll be a different color. Matter of fact, I know a guy that erased it so well, he pinstriped around the original color with a contrast color. It was cool. It looked great. And all he was doing is taking the old pea green and the new pea green and give it a spot in the middle. All right? So if you want to do it that way, but you've got to use an eraser wheel. Some guy says, oh, I'll just get it with a razor blade and some, no. Look, say, I appreciate what you're saying. Doesn't work that way. This paint, the first time you gouge it, maybe you're done. Somebody will say, oh, you tried to take it off like that, didn't you? There's nothing you can say because they'll see it. Use one of these things, they won't see it. Okay? That's a small little thing. Good question, though, because these things are coming out of the woodwork with, somebody will take it and they'll bag off the original decal and paint it. Well, it looks good until the decal cracks. Now the paint cracks, looks like worse. As hell. Get it all off. Get it all off. Now you can lay down something nice. All right? So, if you got it all off and you want to put a new one on there, that's cool. Before you take it off, measure this out. Measure out the distance of all of this. Measure out where it's at. Measure these angles. Get a pattern, in other words. Make a pattern. Now, you got a flat surface. Now, say you gouged it somehow, or there's a bad nick or something. Take some body filler, dab it in there, get it as flat as you can, and then just sand it. Try to get a smooth surface because any decal you put on here is going to telegraph through the bottom surface. In other words, you can't just eat the heck out of it and cover it with the decal because it'll show through. It'll telegraph through. So you need a flat surface no matter what you've got to do. If you come up to a door like this and it's got a little bit of corrosion or something in it, clean it up. Even if you had to just like touch up paint around it, that's okay because your eye is going to go to the stripe, not fixing the hinges because they're rusty or things like that. You can fix that up, put a fresh stripe over it and you wouldn't notice it. Well, you would notice it. You wouldn't notice it from 5 feet or 3 feet. Or you wouldn't even notice it if you weren't looking for it. See, that's perfection. This motorhome here, the paint job on this motorhome, this is painted on stripe. There's 5 coats of high solids clear and it's rubbed to 3,000. He's going to have to stop at every gas pump and wipe all the bugs off because what it's going to take to keep this paint going, you're going to have to be devoted. You're going to have to be committed. So the question is, how far do you want to go? And if your original paint, which is Imron, now the earlier coaches were a different paint, synthetic material, single stage. But the later models, 75 and after, this was all aircraft paint. It was all Imron, hardened woodpecker lips. So if you can get the decal off and that Imron is still smooth and you can buff it out, when you say buff it out, what you're doing is you're ripping off the top layer of pigment that's oxidized and turned bad. So you're going to rip that all off and it'll come back to a little bit closer to the original color. That's when you want to put the decal on it. You want to have a flat surface again. You can buy the decal material in many places. You can get colors, whatever you want to get. You can get a pinstripe, that I think was 1/2 inch, okay? And you can re-decal this thing if you've got a flat surface. Not a problem. Now, if you want to paint it, that's fine too. If you have an original surface, this is a single stage paint. My strong suggestion is to use a single stage paint to paint the stripe. Now we did one coach that it was decent paint. We made the stripe crazy. 3-process pearl, just the stripe really made the body pop, really made it look good. Now, we spent a lot of time on that stripe, but think of the time it would have taken to do the whole motorhome and make it look as good as it did by just spending a little bit of time on the stripes and the graphics. You can paint it. They have some really cool stick-on decals, and the nice thing about stick-on, you can take it back off, you know? So, taking it off is the big deal. You got to get it off with a flat surface and then put your new treatment on top of it. All right, I hope this answers the question, comment. Please keep them coming. We've got a whole list of stuff. I think we're on page 2, Scarlett, aren't we? All right. Thank you for that. Let's keep it going. If you're watching us on YouTube, which you should, subscribe and like, or like and subscribe, right? That's what it's supposed to be. If you're a ranch hand, thank you very much. We appreciate the support, and you're going to be real proud that you're involved in this ranch. Okay? You will. If you want to see more videos, you want to see us do more about this and answer your comments and things, become a member. If not, just hit like and subscribe and keep enjoying, okay? So look, here we go. Next time we'll come up with something else. See you then.